Well, it was really lovely to wake up to this scenery this morning, and the walk down to the greenhouse, well, that was just childhood days. Though I have to admit, it was a bit precarious at times. And then the next day, it was just so cold, bitterly cold. Hello and welcome back, and look at all this snow. Now this is really good for the garden because this is actually a natural fertilizer. It's got a lot of nitrogen from the atmosphere and it brings it down, and as it sits on here it is just releasing, slow releasing the nitrogen into the beds. So I'm really pleased about that. Oh, oh. Oh, I've just got snow come down the back of my neck. That tree there is, all the branches are bowing over so much with the weight of the snow. It's just gone right the way down my back. Right, so I'm going to have to be careful today. But what it has done is meant I've got to put on hold all these bulbs I got from Melvin show. I've got around about 100 bulbs I need to plant out into these borders here, the wall border. And I also wanted to swap over some of these foxgloves that are buried in here somewhere. I wanted to swap over some of those foxgloves with all the allium drumsticks in the front garden. I planted about 500 bulbs in 2 different patches, and they've really multiplied over the last couple of years. So what I wanted to do was actually bring some into these wall borders as well. Now, if you don't know about allium drumsticks, here's a quick clip of how good they are for the bees. So if I compare the allium drumstick to the lavender, which is actually what you can see here, it's a lavender hedge with the drumsticks coming through it. All the bees are actually going to the drumsticks rather than the lavender, so I class these as higher up than the lavender. As you can see, the bees just absolutely love it, and there's not many on the actual lavender. Right, last week I was wondering when to pick these Brussels sprouts. I was hoping for a frost. Now the pond is actually frozen now, so I know we've had a frost. I know that sounds daft with the actual snow all around, but it was still saying we had around about 1 or 2 degrees, so I didn't know actually if we got a frost. All the drive is totally frozen as well with the snow compacted, because this was all from yesterday. So these are now definitely going to be sweeter to pick. So I'm really looking forward to those, and I'll probably pick them after they've defrosted, because they are looking a bit frozen at the moment. Right, and on to these kales. So I'll take you into the greenhouse in a minute. It's looking really good in there, it's quite surprising. So these kales, they're looking quite clean now. I know they're looking all limp, and this did have a lot of snow on it yesterday, but thankfully it's starting to melt. Now what I did want, or what I was hoping for, is that this one's got a little bit of whitefly, but this one's got quite a bit. But looking at it, it's looking like the whitefly is still alive. They're not succumbed to the weather. So I was hoping that because we had this cold spell, that it would start to kill off some of the bugs that are on the kales. I mean, this is the dazzling blue. It really is looking good against the snow, and the leaves are looking really healthy. And this one is probably our healthiest kale. We got the cottage kale, the red Russian, and this dazzling blue. And this is the one that we're going to be growing next year. Cottage kale, I'll see about that because of the florets that are on there. Right, let's get into this greenhouse. Right, that's looking really healthy, that is. So I was quite surprised when I first opened this door that everything isn't even frozen. I could actually pick these and actually eat them. So these are all the different mustards and the rat tail radishes, which again, I had planned to get those out. Just slowly putting them out. I'm not going to rush them all out because it's just going to be a buffet for the slugs. And they are just showing some roots coming through. Now, I don't know whether it was the right time to actually sow those. I think I am late, so that's why I'm going to just slowly put them out. But hopefully we'll see what we get. And this one's starting to look like it's going to get its first more of a flower stem on it. So yeah, I was really surprised. It's it's amazing what these plants can take, isn't it? Right, I'll show you up here, but it is quite dark. I did try and get some of the snow off it, but it's not shifting, it's frozen. Right, I was a bit jumpy today. Simply was the snow was melting. I just didn't know where it was going to fall from next. Oh, this isn't going to end well. That's precarious. Oh. I think I've risked it enough there. It's very dark in here. So I know these are the spinaches. These are the spinaches, the chards, and the brassicas, the brassica leaf. Now I know they can take the cold weather. So can the onions, which are looking pretty healthy at the moment. So yeah, so can the onions. They can all take it, but what was surprised is that none of them have actually frozen. Now I've shown you the pond, that's completely thick ice. So this greenhouse with this polycarbonate, even though I'm letting in all the cold air, and that's going to sit in here now, so I'm going to do this quickly and then we'll go outside again, is that it's protected these plants. Now I know I can get down to around about -2 before it starts to freeze in here, unless I leave the door open while filming. Alright, let's get outside again. You know, sometimes you just see these random things. Now, I would never have thought today I would see a butterfly. So you just got to stick with me. I'm just going to pan down and show you the snow. Right, that butterfly was actually the next day, and the night before we really had a hard frost, and that's coming up. Right, well last week I picked all these pods for the Tsar and the Greek Gigante, and now that the foliage is starting to die back, especially with this cold weather, I knew I'd find a few more. So that's the Tsar, and I saw it just before. Where is it? Oh, I've lost it again. Oh, there's one. That's another Greek Gigante. Now, where was the other one? There it is. Oh, there's a couple there. Now, I'm not going to take the foliage down today because there's snow falling around for everything. But there's a Tsar that I missed, and there's 3 Greek Gigantes. Now, I've just seen another one. There it is. And on last week's video, I got a lot of kind comments, and they were really useful. So I just want to thank everybody. I'm not used to actually getting that many comments on my videos, so it was a nice surprise, and a very welcome surprise as well. Right, let me show you this rocket. I don't know whether I should put my hood up. It's pretty precarious underneath the apple tree with the snow on the branches. The snow just falling off all the trees all over the place and the house as well. Right, so this is Wild Rocket. Now the leaves are slightly darker green just because of the cold weather, but they survived really well. So Wild Rocket is part of the Brassica family, and that's why it can survive. Last year we had at least -10. Last year we had at least -10, and the ones in the bed survived. Now these plants are 15 months old and they're doing really well in these pots, and I'm just taking pickings off. There's quite a lot underneath all this snow, so I'm really pleased with them. I'm so happy to actually put them into pots. Right, let's get away from this tree. Right, well, you just knew that was going to happen. So these blueberries, all the buds are just nicely starting to form now. And they looked really spectacular. When, on the Monday night, we started to get the snow. And then Tuesday morning, I'm actually worried about the camera now because the snow's starting to fall off the roof. I'll do this one quickly. It's just falling over there. I've lost my train of thought. Right, yes. Tuesday morning, when we woke up and we saw all the snow, the view, just looking out here, seeing all the blueberry bushes with all the snow on, and then just looking all the way around. It was really nice. I have to admit, I stood there with a coffee for quite a while, just enjoying the coffee and looking at all the layers of snow on the branches. It just takes you back to your childhood days. I don't know what it is about snow. Right, like I said, I need to do this quickly. That snow on the roof. So what I'm going to do is, once this snow has melted, is I'm going to put on another mulch. Now this is my sieved paths. So what I do, every time I replace the bark, I sieve it, and then I get this really nice fine bark, and that's what I use for the brown in the compost. And I also top up like these blueberries with this. It just means that the blackbirds will start digging around in it as well, because there's a lot of worms in this as well. Right, I'm just going to move over there before that snow starts to fall as well. Right, it's the next day and we've had a real heavy hawthorn frost last night. Everything is nice and crispy. I just love this sound of the ice breaking underfoot. We've got the steam even coming off the fence. Now I don't know whether I can capture that. I may do a close-up of that. So yes, everything's frozen and looking very sorry for itself. And this, what surprises me, is how these plants survive through this cold weather. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm just going to put in a few clips from this morning, because it has been a real sparkly morning. Right, if yesterday made me feel like a kid, this just took me way back. You know when you see the iced up puddle and you just want to jump on it? That's how I felt today. With all this ice, it was just... It was just cracking underneath my foot, and it really was marvellous. And then, now I am going to mention, I do keep on calling it hawthorn frost. So that's later on. I apologise for that. It's actually hoar frost. So I do put that up on the screen. But it's such a lovely day, and with the sun just, yeah, words couldn't describe it for me. It was very, very cold, but it was such a lovely walk down to the greenhouse. Yeah. Back to my childhood days that was. So I'm really glad to see that the whitefly has succumbed to this. I know that sounds really mean, doesn't it? But it's really nice to see that it has succumbed to the frost. And now I'm going to get real nice sweet leaves off the kales now. So I'm looking forward to them now. They've been a bit of a... We've just put a few leaves in. But now that they're this big and going to keep on growing through the winter, I'm looking forward to sticking these into stews and stir fries and whatever else I can find to use these kales up. And then coming on to these Brussels sprouts, yesterday I was worried about whether they've been frozen or not. They're definitely been frozen now. They are like bullets, they are. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to picking those because they are really going to be sweet. Now one of the things I need to mention on these Brussels is, you know, I've had comments saying they're looking really big, but it's only this plant. That plant is the same as another Bridget, but this one has had more sun, obviously because that one's against the fence. So it looks like you really do need some good sunshine to get them to this size this early on. Right, what's next? So next I'm going to show you clips of the greenhouse and also the rocket, which is again just surprisingly doing really well in this weather. And I'll take you back to the main video then. Right, I am off for a nice warm coffee. Warm these hands up. So I wasn't surprised to see all the leaves had gone dark green with the frost, but again they still looked really healthy. None of them were limp. So that was really pleasing to see. And again, looking at these rocket plants, they were fine. And in a couple of days, when everything defrosts, I should be able to pick some of these leaves again. So it's a real handy plant to have in these tubs. So it started snowing around about 6 o'clock on the Monday night, and it was like, okay, it is going to snow. The forecast is correct. So it was a mad dash with the torch to bring in the dahlia, and that survived. I put it into the shed. I've got a few partly brown leaves on it, but that's about it. So hopefully the roots are fine on that. And then in this bed I'd left some of the smaller beetroots. So with the torch again, I came and picked all those. And like I say, there are some nice small sizes there. And one of the reasons is it got so many nice comments again on the last video regarding the beetroots. Both, well, Nick, B and Liz all said about pickling the small beetroots. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I would have liked to have cut off all the leaves now and put them in the compost and then top up the compost with a little bit of snow just to add more of that nitrogen into it. And that's what I'll probably do at the end after this video, is I'll probably put a little bit more snow into the compost just to, like I say, give it a bit more protection from the cold and to give it a bit of a nitrogen boost. I mean, why not when it's so free? So yeah, I'm going to pickle some of these small beetroots, and what I'm going to use is the white wine vinegar or malt vinegar. Now, if I was used to doing that, I would be composting that now and starting to pickle them. What I need to do is to go down to the shops, and I may wait until the road's a little bit safer. So do you use, if you're pickling, do you use the white wine vinegar or malt vinegar? I've seen some people say the cider vinegar is not acidic enough, so you need 6%. So yeah, I thought I'd just ask the question, and like I say, I'm very grateful for all the comments I got, and also for Lucy, who made the good suggestion when I do put those two beds together about trying the Three Sisters. Now I have done the sweet corn before, and the last time it got nibbled on, all of them did, by the mouse. So I'll probably put some protection on. But that's something I like to do, again, is do try the sweet corn, because these beds are a little bit narrow for the sweet corn. I possibly could get 3 in there, but I'd like to get a 4 row by 4, and if I do that as a big bed, I've got that option then. So we'll see how I go with that. Right, so it's been quite fun to do this in the snow. Bit precarious, but it's been fun. So like I always say, I hope you enjoyed the video and hope to see you again.